Mark, you tell me, you've watched a lot of Oregon football. What is their biggest strength on offense? Normally, I would just say play calling, because I tend to think of just Oregon's an aggressive, you know, guns blazing type of offense and play calling team. Where is the biggest challenge for Iowa defending this Oregon Ducks offense this Saturday?
I've watched a lot of Oregon football. Normally, I would tell you absolutely I have. I saw the fourth quarter, the end of the Penn State game, like the fourth quarter, maybe, and overtime. I saw them play Indiana.
You didn't watch that Wisconsin game in the rain?
I did not. Okay. I knew who was going to win the game. I saw a few plays here and there. Dante Moore, I believe, is the best revelation of just about any player in the country this year. When he and his teammates won the game at Happy Valley, of course, we thought they were playing one of the 5 to 10 best teams in the country, but still playing a very talented team, and they won that game. That was my biggest revelation of the weekend, and it may be of the season, that Dante Moore turned out to be a superstar quarterback. He was heralded as one, as a 5-star to UCLA, but it seems like he's been part of college football for a long time now. This is like his 3rd or 4th season, and now he finally gets a chance to play, and they played such scrubs early in the season that the Penn State game was the first time that he was put under the microscope and in the grinder, and he played great and has the entire season. You see there, 19 touchdowns, 4 picks, 71%. And so he's been extremely good. And the running game is kind of odd, because they usually have 2 guys that are NFL bound. Jordan James was their superstar last year, along with Noah Whittington, who's been injured this year. But you see there, they've got like 5 guys with 40 or 50 carries. So nobody has really shouldered the load at the running back position. They've been all over the place. But I would believe that Noah Whittington would be the guy to look out for. I believe he's been injured, and he's healthier and ready to go now. And if you look at the wide receiver play, DeCorian Moore was the number 1 wide receiver in the country coming out of high school. He's a true freshman, and he's having a nice season. Gary Bryant is the antithesis of that. He's been in college football forever. He was at USC for quite some time. He's a contributor. They lost arguably their best receiver. Well, they lost their 2 best receivers to the NFL draft. Then the top guy coming back, Evan Stewart, who was a number 1 receiver coming out of high school, his class 2022, and a 5-star Evan Stewart, he's injured, so they don't have him. And Kenyon Sadiq is a guy that's going to be difficult for Iowa to contend with from a matchup standpoint. So whoever gets the assignment typically for Iowa to match up with a big, talented tight end will get Kenyon Sadiq.
Kenyon Sadiq. It's a great tight end's name.
22 catches, 5 touchdowns.
Not as good of a tight end name as Hayden Large, but it is a good tight end's name. So, I'm going to be likely releasing my preview tomorrow. So we'll release my preview tomorrow, and then we'll also have a live show with Don Patterson in the evening tomorrow. We're in that time of year now, Mark, where it's like just trying to come up for air at some point. So we had women's post game last night. We had the exhibition on Friday. We got the men's season opener tonight. We've got men's basketball Friday night, women's basketball Sunday afternoon, football game Saturday afternoon. So November is the craziest month. But hey, lots of stuff to talk about. And where do you predict Iowa will land when these rankings come out in about 3 hours? I think they'll be top 25, and I'm not weighing all the resumes. I just believe the playoff committee. I do not believe the playoff committee will favor the SEC to the extent that the AP has, the voters have.
I have Iowa at 18. That's my ranking.
And I don't think they'll be that generous.
I think that they'll be somewhere in that range.
Okay.
I think that they should be. They took Indiana to the wire. game, and the committee is supposed to be looking at all these details. In a game that Mark Gronowski missed the fourth quarter, and you basically had one blown play that they sold out on, and they lost to an Indiana team that is just a wrecking ball otherwise, including against this Oregon team where they went to Autzen and won by 10 on the road. And the Iowa State loss, we can argue all night about the Iowa State loss. I think we're generally in the same ballpark, even though you may give it a little more favor
no, it's
than I do.
It's getting worse.
Yeah.
I mean, they're losing games, and they're not showing any signs of life right now. I don't know what's going on besides just injuries.
But I do think that you look at the level of performance in the games, and they didn't lose to Iowa State by 3 touchdowns or to Indiana. They were down to the wire. We could be talking about a team, if we split the difference on these nail biter games, they could have a little bit more room for error, obviously, and be 7-1 instead of 6-2 right now.
Yeah, and that game was on the road, and it's a heated rivalry early in the year. Not saying that still part of the resume, but it was early in the year and it was on the road. So, and they do, depending on how deep the committee looks at things. I know this isn't the way a lot of traditionalists want to view things and like resumes, but it was it last year that Florida State got left out as a 12-0 team? Or was that the year before last?
2 years ago.
2 years. I get the years mixed up. But they're 12-0, but they lost their quarterback, right? So the committee is grading them based on sort of projecting what they're going to be without their quarterback. I say that only because it's not necessarily a difference of player availability. But if the committee is going to really take a deep dive at Iowa, maybe you give Iowa some grace because they lost to Iowa State week 2 with a quarterback who, it was not yet comfortable and now appears to be comfortable in a new system. So could you argue they're a different team than they were then? Yeah, I mean, probably. They're a better team. And Iowa teams tend to get better as the year goes on, as opposed to Iowa State teams that appear, at least right now, to be getting worse. So, and this question from Matthew, anyone want to tell me the best Oregon win? I mean, to win in Happy Valley, I know people are going to look at that like that was a really good win. A very, very good win. That Penn State team was number 1, number 2, somewhere in there at the time. I mean, they've lost games since then. I understand that, but they hadn't fired their head coach. They hadn't started losing yet. They were as talented as anybody. I still count that as an exceptional win. And that's, in my opinion, I haven't been to Death Valley, but that's the most difficult place to play, especially at night.
I'm going to back off of the exceptional part of that.
How could that not be an exceptional win? How could winning on a whiteout not be an exceptional win ever? I can't imagine a scenario where you don't say that's an exceptional win. And a team that was preseason top 5?
I don't think it's exceptional because they had. Let's go back to one of your argument points, which is a good one. What had Penn State done to prove that that was all preseason talent, NFL draft, what they did last year and all that?
Yeah, sure.
They won 3 non-conference games against 3 high school football teams, basically.
Yes.
And then this was their Big Ten opener. So Penn State hasn't beaten anyone.